Up next is Maggie Hamilton Winship. Maggie has a master's degree in public administration from George Washington University. In her shared role at the Village of Williamsville and Town of Amherst, she works with department heads to coordinate and manage all the special projects, economic development initiatives, and numerous grant applications. Previously, she worked for the Village of Williamsville as the Director of Community Development, where she coordinated village events, special projects, economic development initiatives, grants as well, and managed all external communication and public relations. Additionally, Maggie is a broker and co-founder of Build Up Buffalo, a boutique property brokerage firm that specializes in finding real estate for nonprofit organizations and up-and-coming businesses. As a licensed real estate broker in New York State, she has a decade of experience coordinating projects in both the public and private sector. Ladies and gentlemen, Maggie.
First of all, I thought I was cool because I have some 4-letter words in my presentation, but you are amazing. All right, this is me. This is my family. My husband, he's back there, Matt Winship. That's Lucifer and Dahlia. We live in Snyder, New York. If you're ever at Loggerins, shoot us a text. We'll come meet you. So my husband will admit that it was my idea to move here, even though he's the one that grew up here. Which we did that on January 1st of 2013. I was born, raised, college, all in Atlanta. Do not say Hotlanta ever. I knew when I got here that I wanted to do economic development, but I didn't know anybody. So I was lucky enough to be introduced to a couple people and start on the commercial real estate path. I started at CBRE. This is my current firm, Build Up Buffalo, with Aaron Carmina. We are a boutique firm. And really, we want to educate small businesses and nonprofits to make smart real estate decisions. But my passion is local government. So, local government directly touches the people, right? Everybody needs to call 911. Everybody needs to get their trash picked up. We need sidewalks. We need quality of life, right? So currently, I'm lucky enough to work for both the Village of Williamsville and the Town of Amherst. This is my boss, Brian Kulpa. If you've seen this presentation, and most of you probably have, you know that we are the Town of Amherst, the 4th largest municipality west of the Hudson. So I do all the economic development and special projects for him. So today my point of view is really from the real estate economic development world. So what is economic development? Well, as John Oliver points out, in Williamston, Kentucky, it's an ARC replica, and I don't see any ARC-oriented development in this picture. What is good economic development? And so first and foremost, good economic development requires engagement and it requires planning. And those things take money and time. But if you're going to do it right, you have to embrace those two elements. So, here, this next slide is an example of how to grow your tax base 101. So after considerable time with Legos, the Village of Williamsville adopted a new zoning code, had a new community plan, and this property was a parking lot assessed at $500,000. It is now a $5 million mixed-use development. So who doesn't want to add a zero? There's, of course, bad economic development locally. This is before my time here, but I don't think anybody forgets it. But I would like to point out in this old rendering what works. And if you look, you can see the place-based design of the canals that is down in Canalside now that's thriving. There's also, morally bad economic development that destroys neighborhoods. So, completely negatively impacting communities of color here. And, oh, by the way, if you rush a process and you leave it to corporations and governments to sort out, the shit is going to fall apart. So we're even seeing this today. You cannot do top-down economic development and expect good results. And, in addition, why should we as real estate professionals in this room, many of us, care? Well, I recently stumbled upon the 1913 Association of Realtors Code of Ethics, the preamble, which is still the same today. And it reads that the interests of the union and its citizens require the highest and best use of the land and the widest distribution of land ownership. Brokers wrote that. So, and now more important than ever, as our fire industry grows, it's so important. If you have blissfully forgotten who our president is today, that's just an example of how much power real estate can grant you in this day and age. So what do we do about it? What is to be done with our economic development and real estate focus, and what should we do to change the conversation? Number one, density. If you're anti-density and you live in a wealthy neighborhood, you are anti-affordable housing, period. We cannot build sustainable communities for everyone without embracing density. 2, quality. It can't be classified as affordable as if it's a piece of shit. This is a project that people are fixing, and there's demand for this. The rents in this building are like $850 for a 1-bedroom. There's no quality housing. Number 3, promote diversity of housing stock and small parcel development. Increase competition in the real estate industry. A negative effect of post-recession banking regulations is that the equity it requires to get into the game are completely prohibitive. So if we want the missing middle here in Buffalo, we have to focus on increasing competition in the development community. And lastly, we cannot ignore systemic issues. We need policies which focus on reconciliation and enable people who have been left out of the equation to gain a seat at the table. So in closing, many people in this room have far more expertise on these issues than I do. As an economic development professional and realtor, I look forward to continuing the conversation, rethinking our current conversations, and building a bigger table.